You know that feeling, right? You're staring at your banking app at 2 a.m. You're doing all the mental math, trying to figure out where the money actually went, and realizing that despite working harder and earning more than you used to, you're just not getting ahead. It's a really universal, quietly terrifying feeling. On Fair Insight, we usually talk about how money really works, but this part, most people ignore it. Sounds normal, right? Well, it's not. We are deeply conditioned to believe that just increasing our income is this magic bullet that solves all our financial stress. Make more money, fix the problem. But the reality? The reality is actually much darker, and it's literally built into the very structure of our economy. So let's dive right into this contradiction. There is a massive gap between what people say and how they actually live day to day. Look at the reality here. 73% of adults report they're doing okay financially. But beneath that surface level comfort lies a pretty shocking hidden truth. 37% of Americans would actively struggle to cover a mere $400 unexpected expense. Just a tiny bump in the road and the math breaks. And this lack of preparation, it isn't just some personal failure. It is a systemic feature. Think about this. Just over a third of the low-wage workforce, about 36%, actually have any emergency savings at all. And there are these massive disparities across racial lines and family size. White workers, workers without children, and men are noticeably more prepared. The system is fundamentally skewed right from the jump, making it incredibly hard for specific groups to ever build that initial safety net. Consider the lived experience of someone like Luis, a fast food manager from Philadelphia. He did everything right. He worked his way up from $7.25 an hour. He got the promotion. He even took on a second job. But his reality is stark. He said, "Even now, $15 an hour isn't enough. I worried, what are my children going to live off in the future?" When your absolute baseline costs consume everything you make, the math simply never allows for savings. And when that math breaks, and let's be honest, it always does, it shatters fast. A sudden car repair or a totally random medical expense instantly spirals into serious bill payment difficulty. Over 58% of people who face a sudden medical shock struggle to pay their regular bills just months later. It instantly triggers negative cash flow, drawing down whatever tiny reserves might exist, and forces vulnerable families into making impossible, absolutely desperate choices. Now, this vulnerability isn't just an American problem, by the way. It is a global trop. In a fascinating study out of Indonesia, researchers found that when lower-income households face this exact type of financial distress, they're often pushed past their own limited savings or even local pawn shops. Instead, they end up choosing illegal, astronomically high-interest predatory loans just to survive the week. It's a cycle mathematically designed to keep you permanently underwater. But here's the part nobody talks about: the six-figure trap. You might think that making, say, $300,000 a year magically makes you immune to all this stress. It really doesn't. High earners are simply running on a much, much more expensive treadmill. They're dealing with the exact same illusion of wealth, just with a different set of members on the screen. High earners get entirely drained by two invisible forces. First up is the education tax. That's the heavy, six-figure student loan debt you had to take on just to get that high-paying job in the first place. Second is the geography trap. You move to a massive tech hub like San Francisco or New York for the opportunity, and suddenly you're forced to neutralize $100,000 of your salary just to cover the wildly inflated cost of living. So yeah, you make more, but you are absolutely forced to spend more. Then comes the final nail in the coffin: the peer pressure ecosystem. Aggressive spending just becomes your baseline to fit in with your colleagues. The $100,000 car, the exotic vacations, it literally becomes expected. But consider the two paths in front of you. Option A gives you the look of wealth. Option B, the paid-off Camry, gives you actual wealth. So which one are you actually choosing? A or B? Be honest. Drop it in the comments. To truly understand why we're all feeling so stuck, whether you're making minimum wage or multiple six figures, we have to look at the macro-level systems measuring social mobility. Specifically, there's this concept called intergenerational elasticity. Basically, this is the percentage of income difference between families in one generation that persists into the next generation. Simply put, it is the literal measurement of how stuck you really are. And honestly, the data is incredibly sobering. Right now, the ratio between the average income of the top 0.1% and the bottom 90% in the US has pretty much returned to Gilded Age levels. The United States and the UK pair high inequality with remarkably low mobility. If you start at the bottom or even right in the middle, the system creates tremendous friction to keep you exactly there, totally unlike the Scandinavian nations where mobility remains high.
So, how do we fix this? Escaping this cycle requires rejecting the system entirely. You can't just earn your way out of it. You literally have to break the ecosystem. That means prioritizing emergency savings, maybe through automated workplace programs if you have them. It means defeating the geography trap by negotiating remote work or actually relocating to lower cost of living areas. And honestly, most importantly, it means accepting the discomfort of standing out.
The discomfort of standing out is the true price of actual wealth. Whether you are fighting to escape predatory payday loans or you're trying to break out of that six-figure peer pressure trap, you have to consciously choose to stop feeding the ecosystem. You have to be willing to look a little less successful on the surface so you can actually be successful beneath it. So the crucial question I want to leave you with is this. Are you building a future or are you just paying for the present? If this realization changed how you look at your own bank account tonight, hit like, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe so you don't miss the insights that actually protect your wealth. This is Fair Insight. See you in the next explainer.